Hello and welcome to Running Your Stories. In this episode we're going to talk to Wouter Huitzing, who has just set a brilliant fastest known time FKT on Pieterpad trail in the Netherlands, a 498 kilometre trail, which is an astonishing achievement. Very interesting talking to him about that. We touch on the spine race as well, which is where we met. Wouter won the Spine Challenger in 2018 and was second on the Spine Challenger in 2019. So this is a man who has a real pedigree with long distance running and running trail ultras. And we meet up just as he's arriving in the UK to take part in the Dragon's Back race. So we're wishing him well on that as well. So please listen into this episode. I've been very excited to arrange this with Wouter. He's a lovely guy. I'm sure that'll come across, and enjoy listening. Thank you. Wouter, welcome to Running Your Stories.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to have me here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a year and a half since we met.
I think so. Yeah.
We met 2018 before the Challenger.
Yes.
And
Spine Challenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you broke a course record at that time.
I broke it, and people taught me to keep the record, and then Gym Man happened.
Yes. And then we almost met up a couple of months ago when I was in the Netherlands. And, but it's coming together now.
And we met up in Spine Challenge this year again. Yeah.
Met up again this year, which was good. I was trying to absorb the fast running energy from you and I'm losing names now. Rob. Okay, when you were in my car this January.
Yeah. Rob Smith.
Yeah, some of it worked because I was faster than the year before.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start off with your running background and something about how you end up running so fast over 100 or more miles.
I started like rock climbing when I was like 17, 18, and then I joined a university alpine club, and then really opened my eyes to the outdoor sports because I'm from the Netherlands, and our country's quite flat and boring, to be honest, and can't do much except for asphalt running or road running and road biking.
Yes.
Especially I'm from Gouda, you probably know it from the cheese, Gouda.
Yes.
And there's nothing we can do. I used to play water polo, and I wasn't really good at sports with balls. I just missed the goal and missed people, and I could throw, but I never ended up where I wanted to. So when I started to alpine climbing, I noticed just something I really enjoyed, the mountains, the outdoors, and I was quite good at it. And then you need your fitness, you don't know, from climbing, So I started to train running, and I moved to Wageningen, which is in the Netherlands, which is actually like forestry. Still no hills, but it has like trails in the forest. And I started training more and more and running, and I enjoyed running more and more. And you get stronger, you get fitter. And then I discovered adventure racing, you know it?
Yes.
Like running, biking, canoeing with maps. And since 2004 I do a lot of adventure racing. I ended up 3 times being national champion of the Netherlands, and somehow I ended up doing World Sphere races, and now I'm part of a Swiss team Switzerland Adventure Racing, Berghaus Dragon, and then I noticed quite often with the team that my strongest point was running, trekking, always on the foot. I was the strongest on the team. Ended up carrying people's bags and being in front, navigating, everything else. At that point I was like, I want to do more with it. And you know Pavel?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Pavel is also an adventure racer, but also an ultra runner. And he always inspired me to do stuff like what he was doing. He would do this full spine. At some point in 2016, I just guessed, like, I was looking at the spine for 3-4 years already. I followed Dragon's Back race the year before, 2015. Like, you don't know if you can or can't do it if you don't do it.
Yes.
So I just signed up for 2017 Spine Challenger. Started training, a lot of training, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for it because I trained only flat stuff, and I trained by night because that's when I have time. And so 2017 happened, Spine Challenger, and the gun went off, and we started running, started racing, and somehow I found myself in the top 10. I'm like, what's happening here? And then we passed Torside, I guess.
Yes.
And then the top 10 fell apart. It was just 5 of us. And then, somehow we were 5 going for next 20 kilometers. And then Richard London, he was sick, he dropped out. Just 4 of us, like, something's wrong. I was like, and all the guys around me were talking about, I won this 100-mile race, I won this 100k race. Like, no, me not. So at some point, near the Tree Reservoirs, where is it? After White House, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I think almost 60-70 k's in the race in Spine Challenger. I decided, well, this is something is probably wrong with me, so I just have to hold back because this is going too fast. Or I was feeling fine, but like I shouldn't be here. I should be like, my plan was to finish Spine Challenger in 60 hours, and I was just running in front of it. Like, this is something wrong with me. So I decided to hold back and let the guys go. And I was just hoping maybe the 3 of them were just fighting it out and somebody would break down. Well, at the end of it, they didn't break down. I ended up being 4th in 33 hours something. I had a really comfortable Spine Challenger, and I was like, I found it quite easy. And I was like, oh, I might actually be good at this stuff. So I signed up for Dragon's Back Race 2017 as well, and I really enjoyed it as well. Came 16th and just had a nice 5-day running, eating, sleeping experience. And then you're gonna start thinking about, hey, adventure racing is my big passion, but ultra running is also really nice, and it's so much easier, less logistics. You don't have to bring a bike, you don't have to go kayaking, canoeing, you don't have to bring like 20 kilos of gear and then sort out for 2 or 3 days all your gear, and then hopefully nobody of your team drops out. So I just enjoy ultra running. I think the atmosphere more, it's easier and just comfortable. And so I started thinking about Spine Challenger 2018. Like, well, I became 4th without focusing on it, so I really wanted to see if I could win it. Well, long story short, I did win it 2018, get a course record, and then this year I went back, and then I came 2nd after Jim Man. But Jim Man is a different level, we all know about him.
Yeah.
So that's actually my background of running, and as I was telling you before we started this, I did run in the past, like 10k run, 5k runs in Holland, like road running, and I always ended up after 5-6k's with a really bad Achilles. It hurt my Achilles very bad, and I was just stiff for 2 weeks after the run, and it didn't really work for me. Like a 5k run, like 18-20 minutes if you're unlucky, and then you have 2 weeks of pain. Like, there's something wrong with that equation.
Yeah.
So I went to see a doctor, a physiotherapist, and they told me I had an Achilles tendon injury, and in the end it was like, you're going too fast, you're too explosive, you're not, your body is too much pressure on your calves and too much on your hamstring, they're all pulling on your Achilles, so if you go too fast, it will hurt every time. So I didn't want to have this injury anymore, so I just started to run like a relaxing tempo, and then to get my kick still, my practicing still, I just run faster, not faster, further.
Yeah.
So I never really enjoyed marathons. I never did one real one just for practicing, but so I just went running on trails I could find in Holland, and then just at some point you run 20k's, think, oh, next time do 25, 30 and more, and then it was more relaxing.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point, something I've talked about before on the podcast, about the fact that for a lot of people it's counterintuitive that running 5k, 10k hurts more than running 60k. Sometimes, it depends on you, and still being, and that's running the long distances competitively. We're not talking about just running it very slowly at that long distance. It's one of the things that I certainly like about the whole ultra running kind of, the way you have to go about it is you have to be very, very healthy.
Yeah.
And some of the short distance things, you're trying to, it's almost like you're trying to put 6 months of work into, like you say, 15 minutes of explosion or something. And that's that's a lot of pressure on your body.
I agree, yeah, definitely.
Whereas when you put your 6 months of work into 24 hours or 36 hours of running, it's going to be less.
It's also the breathing and rest of your body. It's so much easier to have a longer, relaxing run.
Yes.
Or still competitive, but I think your breathing is better. Everything is better. There's less tension in your body. Just, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
so I would suggest everybody just started running longer distances.
Yeah, I mean, it's again the reason I expanded on the point is, you know, what people want to do. I always think it's their choice, but it's just trying to help people to understand that running longer doesn't mean doing more damage. It doesn't mean straining yourself more. Actually, in a lot of ways, running longer becomes easier, less strain, less damage.
I think so, yeah.
So I think that's something that many people won't know because they haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are really nervous about trying it because they know 10k hurts or they know a half marathon hurts.
Yeah.
And they think, it's going to hurt worse. No, it really doesn't have to.
No, that's true, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So it's I would say an illustrious career up to into 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
You know, winning a Spine Challenger, which is I know how much it takes because you know we met the night before you win in 2018, and as you were saying as we were talking earlier, you were having had a sleep and got up to go to the toilet at midnight, and I was still out there. And then you got up again 6 hours later at 6 in the morning. I was finishing about that time.
Yeah.
So it's it's tough.
Well, the funny thing is, you were saying that it's hard to go this pace, but I was like, I saw the weather forecast and I didn't want to be out there for a second night in the weather forecast, and you did, and I was like, I woke up that night and the wind and the rain was pounding on the window, and like, I'm so happy I'm not out there. And for me it was like, at that point I was like, the real heroes are still out there. I just run really fast to make sure I didn't catch the bad weather. You know, and then I think it's also something you don't have to underestimate. That's the good atmosphere about ultra running. Everybody has his own race, everybody has his own challenge.
Yes.
And it's such interesting to see, because those people out there like you, they still keep going.
Yeah, and I think the same way, because even when I finished, I wasn't at the back.
No, it's true.
there was people out there another certainly another 10 hours after me.
Yeah.
There was quite a few people came in around the 55-hour mark that year, and it's like, wow. Yeah, as you say, it's got to be really, really tough being out, getting up to 60 hours compared to these people who skip around. What was your finish time on that one?
That one was 25 hours, 42 minutes and 21 seconds. I'm not sure how to get to 21 seconds, but I'm okay with it.
Yes. Yeah, no, actually 21 seconds is interesting, because I think the 3-day event that I just did, I think my total time was something like 16 hours, 33 minutes and 21 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
And the guy who finished one place ahead of me was only 11 seconds ahead of me.
Oh, wow, yeah.
After 16 and a half hours, over 3 days, it was only 11 seconds difference to the next place, which is crazy.
Well, I lost the Dutch Nationals Adventure Race Championship on 18 seconds a couple of years ago in a 32-hour race. And I was like, really? And it was actually because the team behind us, because they were behind us, they got like a time, not a penalty, but they got a time, let's say it's, they got extra time, because they had the waiting time somewhere.
Right.
And then they were like 20 minutes behind us, and then with the waiting time, that was like 80 seconds in front of us. Like, really? 32 hours and we lost in 18 seconds?
Yeah.
And then I had to pee somewhere. I had to. Yeah.
I know. If you're actually there next to the other person, you could easily find 18 seconds.
Yeah. That's definitely. At that point is,
Yeah.
It's interesting, and especially because Jim Mann broke the record this year by, again, like 3.5 hours, I guess.
Yes.
It's like amazing.
Yeah, that was someone that he put in there.
especially because the conditions this year were so much worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. What wasn't the best? Well, one of the things I was thinking about is that you seem to be extremely efficient going through the checkpoints.
Yeah.
I wonder whether that comes from the adventure racing.
Definitely, because adventure racing, you're always in a team, and you're only as fast as the slowest person. So at some point you're just practicing going through checkpoints, and then you have everybody just has to be more or less same time ready.
Yeah.
Because if you're ready and you have to wait 20 minutes on your team member, and of course sometimes you can help people, you can fill up bottles, something else, but some things they have to do on their own. And you don't want to lose too much time. And if you have a 10-stage race and you do every transition area like half an hour or 20 minutes more than you want to, you're losing like hours.
Yes.
Especially hours of daylight is so much useful. So for me, I made a checklist for myself for the Spine Challenger. Just put it on top of my stuff, just saying exactly what I want to do. Because I think the thing I learned from Pavel is you're never as smart as you were before if you were doing a race. So make sure before you go into a race, you plan everything and plan for the worst thing to happen.
Yeah.
So I went into this checkpoint and I just put out my list. It says here, get your new food, change your batteries, get your head torch. Those 10 things. Just like, yes, I did. Check, check, check. And actually, this year I got a GPS watch for my girlfriend for my birthday, and I just got it 2 weeks before my birthday because I was doing the Spine Challenger. So I could finally use a GPS watch. It was like, I want to try it, I want to have it. Because for adventure racing it's not allowed, but for ultra running it's ideal. Yes. You can just watch it all the time. And I didn't put it on my list because my list was already done. So I did everything on my list, check, 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 check. And I was done in 40 minutes this year because I had to follow Jim Mann, and he like 30 minutes. He told me, like, oh crap. And then I left Hebden and I was a kilometer away and I was like, fuck, I forgot my watch. And everything was on my list except for the watch.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to know what you want to do, and if you're sure you're not going to remember like I did, make a list.
Yes.
And then check it off. And like we were talking before in the car, don't faff around, because it's such a shame to lose time when you're transition area. I mean, if you need it, definitely use it, but if you're just losing time because you don't want to go out again, you shouldn't be in the race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that I've thought about a lot, because the Hebden checkpoint, I did pretty well.
Yeah. You told me. Yeah.
Yeah. But the next checkpoint, I made a mistake that's easy to make at that distance, because I'm trying to think.
That's around 135 kilometers in the race. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a good way into the race. I've been running for a long time, and because the weather was so bad, but I knew the checkpoint was coming, I'd left it a bit longer than I should have done to eat.
Yeah.
And that means that your body starts to, kind of, it's waiting for an excuse to stop.
Yeah, slow down. Yeah.
And then I came into the checkpoint, going into checkpoint 1.5. It's quite flat.
Yeah. So
you can go quite fast there. And I got in there, sat down, started eating food as quickly as I could. You think that's the right thing to do? And then I almost passed out, sort of feeling faint. I had to lie down on the floor, and then that's when you start losing lots of time.
Yeah.
So again, one of the things I've been learning about is trying to your checkpoint plan starts before you get to the checkpoint.
Definitely, yeah.
And that if you're going to eat and you haven't eaten for a while, then actually eat a little before you hit the checkpoint, because it starts your stomach going.
Yeah.
And starts just your body moving some of the blood from your legs into your stomach.
Yeah.
So that's what happened when I sat down and started eating. Well, all the blood in my body suddenly moves from one part of the body to another.
Yeah.
And then when you try and stand up, it doesn't go so well.
No.
So yeah, so learn about trying to like transition into a checkpoint, and maybe even pretend. I think if you were going to sleep, you would want to slow down more into the checkpoint, so you're more ready for sleep. But yeah, it was a useful learning experience.
That's one of the things I learned a lot of adventure racing, also with ultra running, is you have to keep eating, and sometimes it's like eating competition.
Yes.
I mean, you're carrying a watch. I tell myself like every hour I need to eat something, or I'm saying, well, it's 1:00 now, and 1:30 I want to eat this, and I'm doing it. And drinking as well. At some point you don't want to eat and drink anymore, but you know that your body is needing it, and if you want to finish your race in a comfortable way, you just have to eat and drink.
Yes.
Another thing is about you're carrying your stuff with you anyway, so why would you otherwise carry a bar for 180 kilometers if you're not eating it?
Yes.
Because when I finished Spine Challenger 2018, I finished with like, I think 2 bars left, which is, like a nice, comfortable backup.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to finish with like 500 grams of food left in your...
Yeah, I think the first time I finished, I probably had close to a kilogram of food left.
Yeah, so you're carrying a kilogram of food for like, since Hamptons, for 100 kilometers, just to drop it off in your back again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a shame. It's like a 1 kilo of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, because again, if I go back a couple of years, one of the first kind of really tough races and it was very tough for me at the time. It's still a tough race to run fast. It's a local fell race, the Home Moss Fell race. So I think it's 29 kilometers, and it's about 1,500 meters of ascent, and people run it fast, and I was caught out by how much energy that takes, and I ran out of food.
Yeah.
And I really badly bonked. Yeah. I could hardly even walk, and there's a very steep hill close to the finish. And so then after that I started carrying too much food.
Yeah.
Because of that bad experience.
Problem,
yeah. And so now I've started kind of moving back the other way and balancing it, and just with more experience and learning more about, well, that is how much I'm actually going to need. And again, if it's hot, it's harder to eat, and if it's cold, it's harder to drink. And it's
because can I ask how much was your backpack on this Spine Challenge this year? The weight, more or less?
What I kept focusing on was how much lighter it was than the year before. It was 3 kilograms lighter.
Wow, yeah.
Than the year before.
Such a big difference already.
Yeah, and so yeah, I do have the weight of what it actually was on a spreadsheet somewhere, but rather than focusing on, oh, it's so heavy, I kept focusing on, it's so much lighter that I finished before, and now it's lighter.
Yeah.
And I really focused. So that number I know immediately.
So I got it down to 5Ks this year, including food and drinks, and especially because in the Netherlands you cannot drink from streams anywhere. So I learned from running in the UK you can drink from streams. So I got like a bottle of water for 750 ml.
Yes.
And then I lost it already on Kinder. I stumbled, and later on I tried to have a sip, and I probably lost it while stumbling and just was in the front pocket. So I got I had a backpack from 4.2 kilos, I guess.
Yeah.
And this so much more relaxed to run with. I think you really have to go down on what do I need and what I'm going to use and what I'm going to eat.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because last year I had on the first year I had these 2 very small bottles, 250 ml each, and then I had a 500 ml separate bottle, and then I had at least a litre in a bladder. So
it's 2 litres total.
Yeah, I was carrying all of that. So that this time I had an empty 2 litre bladder, because you have to carry 2 litre water capacity.
I had an empty one as well. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So that makes you compliant.
Yeah.
Then I also started running with a 750 ml. It's actually a cycling bottle, but it's so easy to drink from.
Same for me.
It works very well.
It's easy to fill from streams because the soft flask you don't fill easy.
It's a big wide opening, easy to fill. And then I had a 500 ml soft flask, but there was only one stage where I actually started using anything from the soft flask.
Okay.
So now I've got a better handle on most of the time now. The 750 ml's enough.
Yeah.
But
I think it's so interesting because the first year I was one of several Dutch guys running it, and one of the guys had a 14 kilo backpack. I'm like, whoa.
Yes.
And he was like, I have everything with me which I need. And he was like, at that point I think I had 6.5K backpack. It's like, oh, you're not gonna make it. He was like, you're not gonna make it. And then I was fourth, and like, boom, he dropped out. I don't think you should carry too much in these kind of races.
Yeah, but it is a balance as well, because like our other friend Rob,
if you're slower, you need more stuff.
when he got injured, when I was in checkpoint 1.5, he came back in because he was dropping out, and he injured his calf, which meant he could still make it to the finish, but he was going to go slower, and he didn't have enough gear to keep himself warm at a slower pace, and so he had to drop out.
True,
and so that's the balance, is that whether your real priority is being able to finish if certain things happen.
True.
But then absolutely, as you say, I've seen people with taking too much, and that stops you finishing.
It's funny you say so, because we're going to be there later on, because last month I did the Pieterpad in the Netherlands, but we're going to talk about later.
Yes.
But I'm doing the Dragon's Back race Monday for the second time, and because I only did this Pieterpad run last month, I'm less, I say, confident with my skills and my feet at this point than 2 years ago in Dragon's Back race. Well, I'm stronger and a better runner now and more experienced runner, and I'm actually already packing more stuff in my pack now just to make sure I'll finish it. That's my goal for now, Dragon's Back race.
Yeah.
I want to finish it, I want to be comfortable, I want to enjoy it. So already I'm packing more stuff just to make sure I'll finish it. So I have some more gear for my feet. Normally I just take some band-aids and the mandatory gear. Now I took an extra tape and scissors to make sure the tape is fine, an extra shirt to make sure I'm warm enough, because I'm probably going to be out there longer than last time, but I'm still here for enjoying it. And if you know what your goal is, you can adjust your backpack to it.
Yes.
Or your race pack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds good. So for probably it's time to get on to Pieterpad.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I've sort of really known somebody who's set an FKT.
Yeah.
So I guess what we should explain first of all, because
what a Pieterpad is.
Well, what the Pieterpad is and what an FKT is.
Okay, yeah.
Actually,
I'll
because
FKT to you.
Because we have a range of different listeners.
Yeah.
Not everybody is.
Okay.
Yeah. So an FKT, a fastest known time.
Yeah.
Is what it says, and then there's different styles of FKT.
True. Yeah.
If you're talking about something like the Pennine Way.
Yeah.
There's a fastest known time for supported running and a fastest known time for unsupported.
True.
Which are quite different times, depending if you need to carry things or not.
Yeah.
Because on a supported fastest known time, generally you're running just with your shirt and somebody else is running beside you carrying things for you.
Yeah.
Which is good, because that's how you get the fastest time. It's the fastest way to run. It's a lot slower, as we know, when you have a big pack. So people plan things, a lot of logistical planning, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And go out to set a fastest known time, and then the route that you were on.
Yeah. So I choose this year. I wanted the FKT is like a becoming a thing in ultra running now.
Yes.
And I was looking for like an adventure, a challenge in my own country, because for people who know Netherlands, it's quite cultivated, it's quite calm, there are roads everywhere, there are people everywhere. We don't have any real wilds anymore. And I always go to I do a lot of UK running, because I love the UK, the rolling hills, the scenery, it just really fits my style and I love it. I did a lot of alpine climbing in the past and it helps. I also think I really enjoy and do a lot of adventure racing international. I went to Costa Rica, China, America. But it's always me, mostly I'm the only Dutch guy on my own. I wanted to do something with my family and friends, so I was looking for an adventure and a challenge, and something which was still achievable but still a real challenge, not like a 10k run in the backyard, something which was I could still possibly not make it.
Yes.
So I was looking to some stuff in Netherlands and I found this. We have a Pieterpad. It's called Pieterpad, because it starts in the small village of Pieterburen and finishes on the St. Petersberg, which is St. Peter's mountain, which is like I think 150 meters high. So not really a mountain. Okay, it finishes, and so it starts more or less in the north of Holland, Netherlands, almost at the sea, just like 1.5 kilometers from the sea, which is stupid. I should start on the sea, and it finishes on the St. Peter's Mountainberg on the border of Belgium. So you run from the north, or it's from north to south of whole Netherlands. And normally it's a long distance trail, walking trail, and that's 26 stages, day stages between 15k and 24k a day. And more people walk it, or like every weekend 1 or 2 days walking or something else. So people take 2 years, 3 years about it. And I was like, I can do this faster. I can do this like as a real adventure. So I set out to do a fast enough time on this one. I started training on it. And like you're saying, logistics is horrible. I didn't know beforehand, but that's the big challenge, the logistics. I had 3 people with me to support the run, was it? I had a camper van, and I had to say where I want to meet them, where I want to see them, and what I wanted from them. Like I told you, I had a list again. I made a list for every checkpoint, or more or less, for, like I said, every 25 kilometers I want to have this. And around every 50 kilometers I want to have clean shoes, clean socks, and other stuff. And by night I want to have this. I want to have my head torch and my glasses, because I have contacts. And in the morning I want to have my sunglasses and my contacts again, and ditch the head torch, because you forget. Yes. Trust me, I've been running with my head torch for half a day because I was just forgetting what's on my head. Yeah. So last month, Eastern, I thought was the best plan, the moment to do it, because I had 4 days off, and my family, my girlfriend, my wife now, had 4 days off, and her friends had 4 days off. So I did the Pieterpad run, and it was like it was great, but also very hard. So the first 200 kilometers I went too fast. Not sure about how it was here in the UK, but Eastern in Holland was very hot.
Yeah, it was hot here.
Yeah, the week before it was still wind chill, very cold, and then suddenly there's a really nice weather hits, and then you're running. Yes. You didn't train, you trained in the cold, and then I was running in shorts and a shirt. So it was really comfortable, really hot, and really hot at the same time. You know, I really enjoyed the running. I had a wind in my back, but it was too hot, which makes you do stupid things. So I didn't eat as much as I wanted at some point, and then later on I drank too much because it was too hot.
Yes. But
still, I enjoyed it, and my support crew was really good. They really helped me with everything, and they gave me all that I needed. And one of the guys made a movie about it, or making a documentary about it now. Cool. So I'll send you a link later on, but it's going to be probably weeks or months. Yeah. So first 200Ks were almost in 24 hours, I think 25 hours. And it's a 500K path, so it's going quite well. And then it all hit me. It probably was because everything came together. It was too fast and too warm, and then I started to have blisters. I started to have more blisters, nails falling off, and that was quite bad. And I still had 300 kilometers to go, but it was really, all my family was there to support me, which was really nice on the trail, because I have a tracker as well, so people could follow me where I was. I had friends pacing me, running with me, so I really want to keep going. And so my girl, every time she washed my feet and fixed me up, we used like cream to soften my feet and to pack everything together again, clean socks. And the next 300 kilometers were a lot harder to cover. Yep. But in the end, I did 498 kilometers, which is the whole Pieterpad, in 98 hours, 16 minutes and 10 seconds. So happy with it. But it was really, like I say, the logistics was really hard, especially because you also have to pass a river 3 times. The Rhine once, which is 400 meters, and twice the Maas, which is 100 meters. But the ferries don't go the whole day. So that was like, really gave me a headache at some point. And then I found friends who were offering to bring a kayak and pass me, which really was nice of them, because I could pass the whole day now. And yeah, it was a really good experience. But it's been a month, and now Dragon Back's coming up, and it hurt more than I expected. My feet were really torn up, and they're more or less healed now again, but this is like a soft pink baby skin now. And it's gonna be interesting to see how I'm gonna do Dragon's Back. Like I said before, I'm gonna hold back, not like just the first time. Just, it's gonna be about, I think I'm enjoying and survival the first 2 days, and then after 2 days I'm gonna look at where I am, how I feel, and maybe I can hurry up, speed up, or just keep on relaxing, or depending on how I'm doing.
So with your FKT on
Yeah.
Pieterpad, I understand that's in application with the Guinness World Records.
Yeah. I put it in a Guinness Book of Records application first, and the first time they just said no, because everybody can run from A to B. So I came back to contact them and say, well, you're right, but this is officially a National Heritage Trail. It's been there for 35 years. Like 35 years ago, 2 women of Netherlands just decided that we needed a long distance walking path like Santiago Compostela. Every country has one. You have a Penna Way.
Yes.
So yeah, they decided. So I contacted the Guinness Book of Records again, saying, "Well, it's a National Heritage Trail. People walking it every day, year long." And then they said, "Yes, okay, you're right. You can do it as a world record attempt." So in theory, I have the fast known time now. This is like ultra running. It's like not really anything official, but the community said, "Well, you have it," and that's noted down because of the tracker and everything else. And now I'm in the application with the Guinness Book of Records. So I'm now sorting out all data, and I have to get GPS tracks from my watches and my tracker. I need to have eyewitness accounts, so I asked people, or my support crew asked people who run with me, who saw me on the Pieterpad or something else, to fill in a form, who they were, what's the job, and when they saw me, and if they want to say they saw me and that I really was running, not on something else, on a bike or something.
Yes.
So I need to have like at least 3 eyewitness accounts from every day. So I have them, but I just need to scan them in now. I need to have a film material, movie, about the start, the finish, and 10 minutes from every day. So, and the important parts like crossing the Rhine, crossing the rivers, and all other parts, so you can see that I really was running along. Then I need also have a logbook. Is it? Yeah. And yeah, I think that's more or less it. So I have to get it all together now, put it on a USB stick or on a DVD, and then send it to Guinness Book of Records, and then they're gonna review all that. But it should be all there, so I'm quite confident they're gonna give me a Guinness Book of Records or a world record. And now, hopefully, it'll be in there before somebody tries to break my record. Yeah. So really looking forward to see my name in there, and then they're gonna send me a certificate. Hopefully, I can put it on above my desk.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's very impressive.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, to do it in that time, and yeah, it sounds like an interesting process to go through for the application. And but just coming back to what you were saying about after the first 200k, which kind of sounds like it went pretty smoothly.
Yeah,
and it sounds like things get interesting.
Yeah, it did actually.
From there. Was it because I guess if you're changing your pace, and were you changing other things about what you were doing? Were you kind of driving that yourself, or was your team saying that you should slow down? Or
well, I think the biggest factor were my feet. They were driving what I was doing.
Right.
Because I was, to be honest, I never run more than 180 kilometers. I did Spine Challenger 3 times, and that was the longest run, a continuous run I ever did. So I did Dragon's Back before, it was 315 kilometers, but you sleep 5 days, or 5 nights, or 4 nights, yeah. And I did some other runs, and I did 80 kilometer runs, I did a lot of stuff, but never more than 180 kilometers, which is quite normal for people.
Yeah, 180 kilometers is long for most people, yes.
So I was thinking, well, I did adventure races from 700 kilometers, 600 kilometer adventure races, like several of them. But then you're switching from running to kayaking to biking. So the thing I did was I took my 180 kilometer experience, I took my adventure experience and put it together and saying I can do it this way and I'm gonna do it this way. And that was wrong. Because I thought, well, normally I can go at least 1.5 nights without sleep. So my plan was, I don't sleep the first night, I'll sleep the second night. And a lot of time in adventure racing, if I'm trying to sleep the first night, I can't sleep because I have too much adrenaline, too much caffeine, too much sugar, and too much fun to stop. But because I was running the first 200 kilometers, it's so much tension on your feet, on your tendons, on your hips, everything else. The whole legs are just get a lot of tension on it. And normally, if you just switch to kayaking or biking, you use different muscles. So the muscles you'll be using, the tendons you'll be using, can relax a little bit.
Yes.
So I think the biggest mistake I made at that point was I didn't rest enough. I think next time, it's going to be next time, but I'm not sure when, I'll take earlier rest. And I will just adjust my pace as well. Because my plan was to do a 10 kilometer an hour pace for the first 10 hours. And I did, but I did it actually faster because I also had like some transition areas where I was relaxing and eating and drinking, because I knew I was going to have a long time to go. So I think I did the first 100 kilometers in 10.5 hours, including drinking, eating, and a lot of stuff, and switching my shoes and socks. So it was like almost 11 kilometers an hour, which was too fast. Because I repaid later on with going slower. And my girl, she also said, well, if you want to continue, you should also adjust your pace a little bit, maybe sleep more, because your feet are they were really damaged. Like I lost the skin on my small toes. I even lost the nails on my small toes. I had some big blisters on my big toes, and in the end there were blisters coming underneath my feet as well.
Yeah. So those things that happen to you after 200 or 300 or 400 kilometers, that's what happens to most people after 100 kilometers.
I know, yeah. That's the thing, because I'm conditioned on the 180 kilometer runs, because I never had blisters on 60 or 70 kilometer runs, or something's wrong with your socks. And even the Spine Challenger, I mean, my feet look quite remarkably well after such a run. I mean, I don't have that many toenails anymore, and it's something which the growing back takes a long time, but they still look quite fine after the Spine Challenger. And it's all about conditioning your feet and conditioning your body.
Yeah.
So next time I'll probably have more experience with longer runs as well, because I'm hoping next year to do the full spine and maybe do the Legends Trail in Belgium, which is 250 or 500k as well. So I have more experience and my feet have more experience, and you'll take that into account as well.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a vastly longer distance, but same experience that I had when I did my first Spine Challenger. The longest distance I'd done on my feet, which was mostly kind of more walking than running, but I'd only done maybe about 60 kilometers in one go before I did my first Challenger of 180. And as you say, things like tendons and toenails and you get all these problems, which is why since when people have asked me, because I wouldn't ever tell somebody, don't go and push yourself that hard. I did it. I didn't die.
Agree. Don't.
I kept myself safe. I wouldn't tell people not to go for it.
I agree. Yeah.
What I would say is, if you want a more sensible approach to not hurt yourself, you need to have done
the distance,
2/3 distance before.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Then you'll have a more comfortable experience.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to say you can't. Of course, you probably can. But if you want a more comfortable experience, get 2/3 distance, fully recover, and then go.
And that's what that was the thing. I did 200 kilometers in more like around 24 hours. At that point, I was really sore, and I was like at a mental breakdown. I was in my camper van, sitting a little bit crying with my wife, my girl. At that point, I was like, okay, I can do two things. I can quit, and then I'll be comfortable again, and I come back for another time, or I can just push on and adjust my plan, adjust my schedule. And now, my feet were better, but I could still walk, I could still jog a little bit, even run at some points. And that's the thing you'll learn from adventure racing, from ultra running. It won't go as you're planned.
Yes.
You have to adjust yourself, and then you can do two things: or give up, or push on and adjust your plan, and then still finish what you plan to do, and then in a different way. Because
actually, I think what you're saying is that there's actually it's 3 options. There's the stop, go with the original plan, which starts to become not an option, and then there's the third option of go with a new plan, and that's again what some people don't think about when they start hurting or have a problem, whether it's in a race or something else, is they think it's only stop or go. Well, actually, there's the third option.
Definitely
make a new plan and go with the new plan.
And that's the thing we discussed before we had this podcast. It's also, I think, the adventure racing, ultra running makes you mentally stronger as well.
Yes.
Like, in normal life, you also encounter stuff which won't go according to your plan, and then you can just figure out a new plan or adjust to it and keep going and still have a nice experience. Because looking back on the Pieterpad, it's like, I'm really happy I've done it. I'm happy I finished it. And it was such a great experience. I mean, like, a lot of people came to cheer me on. A lot of people supported me. Because having the FKT or the Guinness Book of Records, it's just fun.
Yes.
But that's not the real experience. The real experience is I've been there on 4 days with my wife and my support team. Family and friends came along to push me on. I got text messages in the middle of the night. I even met a guy who just was unknown to me before, but he saw my tracker, and I told people, well, if you want to join me. So at 11 in the evening, he just jumped out of the car. He joined me for a 2-hour run, and at 1 o'clock almost we were near his place. He said, well, do you need anything? So, it's 1 o'clock, what should I need? He said, well, do you want like a fried egg? And he called his wife, and his wife was there with a fried egg like 2 minutes later. And that's like, such experience is just really something you just don't have normally.
Yes.
And that's the things I take back home with me from the Pieterpad, like meeting new friends, making new friends, having this kind of experience. Such an emotional and intense experience with my wife as well, because she was there the whole time to fix me, to cheer me on, to do everything I couldn't anymore. I was just running, and she was just like logistic manager, and that's such a thing I can only recommend people to do stuff like this, because it's so emotional, so intense. So it was a really good thing to do. And if I would have quit after 24 hours because I made a mistake before running too fast, I would have missed all this, and I wouldn't have a negative experience. Like, because I planned for hours and hours and evenings. I've been doing this for like 6-7 months, planning everything, and then in 24 hours would have been done, and then you would have a negative experience. And now everything's positive. I even think about doing it again. But don't tell my wife.
Tell her not to listen to this.
Yeah. She won't.
But like you say, it's something that ultra runners talk about it a lot. That a lot of people these days are in their life. It's very easy for life to become too comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you don't find how to push to new boundaries.
Yeah.
And like you say, if you'd just been able to maintain that comfortable pace, and you'd have finished in 20 hours faster or something.
Yeah.
But actually, you'd have less experience.
Yeah, less intense, less emotional.
Yeah. Whereas it's when things start to get really tough and don't go according to plan, that's when you can start to learn things and have the really special experience.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's difficult to explain to people sometimes that really that's why we do it. It's not I don't think it's a choice of wanting to be in pain or actually wanting to be uncomfortable.
We don't like pain, but we experience it and keep going.
But it's not allowing that to stop you from having the experience.
No.
I think that's more to the
that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good experience.
It is. Yeah. And the good thing about, because I know the Conwy has a FKT from like 20 years ago, isn't it?
Yes.
And Pavel tried to break it a couple of times, but he never managed to. And that was like one of my luck, I guess. There wasn't FKT or not real FKT on the Pieterpad, so everything would have been fine. Because my goal was 3.5-4 days, and I missed the 4-day mark, and I still like, I'm so close. I just keep going, and yeah, for the next person or even for me, it's going to be harder because you have like a real goal.
Yes.
'Cause actually, 2 years ago, 2 women from the UK did the Pieterpad in 5 days, but they had like 5 stage days. So my goal was to at least do faster than 2 girls in 5 days. Not saying girls aren't fast. I mean, like, look at Jasmine Paris from the.
Exactly.
But yeah, I figured out if they're from the UK, they didn't probably wreck it as good as I did, didn't plan as good as I did. So that was also a thing why I wanted to do a challenge in my own country. I could just go out there every week to do part of the wrecking and see how it was, and experience it beforehand.
Yeah, and as you say, it also hopefully highlights trail running in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
Because before you did this, I didn't know that trail was there.
No, a lot of people didn't.
For sure, I didn't know it was there. So it's that's also a good thing. I remember, because I was telling you earlier, I lived in Africa as a child, and one of the first big trips I did myself was going out to Canada. And when I went to Canada, and people are saying, "Oh, have you been to this place in Scotland?"
Yeah.
I haven't been there. And have you been to this place in Wales? I haven't been there. And so actually, when I came back from the trip to Canada, I did a lot more in the UK. Things that are like really local.
Yeah.
Because it's then when you go to other places, you've got that common thing that person who visited. Oh yeah, there's this.
True. Yeah.
This great
it's funny you mention it, because probably not the scope of this talk, but I've been to New Zealand with my girl, and then we've been traveling out to New Zealand, and we noticed a lot of people there been to Europe and saw things we didn't see.
Yes.
And that's why we're doing actually a camper van trip, 5 months camper van trip next week.
Yeah.
Just to experience our country or our continent as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I love to go outside and experience and find these things. Like same for me. Like I didn't know all these trails in Holland as well before I started to look for them.
Yes. Yeah, and I say again about local trails as we were driving in here. I was pointing out a few things, and we've actually just started. Well, we've done it once, and it's the second one's coming up. In this area, there are probably 12 running clubs, all on, and that means certainly well over 1,500 people go out running every week.
Wow, yeah.
Probably a lot more than that. And so we've started a social trail running on. It's only once a month on a Friday night, and it's open to all of the clubs. And the idea is that each club hosts a run in their kind of local area, so that people from just where it's only like 10 or 15 minutes drive, but you can go in now and somebody very local can show you the interesting trails around that area. So that's
especially around here. I mean, we drove in here and it's just such a nice country. I saw all the hills, and for me it's just like, I'm jealous. I was telling you about, I have a 7.5k from my home. I have a 30-meter high garbage heap which is covered by a park now since a couple of years, and that's where I train.
Yes.
That's my trail. And if I want to go somewhere else, I have to do a 1.5 hour, 2 hour drive.
Yeah.
You guys have all this around.
Yeah.
You're just pointing out to me that from your window you can see the Pennine Way, and like, man.
Yes.
I would have been on there like every week probably.
Yeah. Well, I have to say the trails sort of immediately close to my house that lead to these bigger trails, I do run them like at least 3 times a week.
Great, yeah.
They start to get a little repetitive.
Of course, yeah.
But it's so good.
But I mean, like, if I wasn't going for the Dragon's Back in 2 days, I would have definitely go out for a run for you here to check it out, and that's so cool.
No, it's good. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, it's actually perfect time while we're talking about UK, is are you looking at doing anything like a Bob Graham round? Or Ramsey round,
actually, last year somebody told me about the Bob Graham round, and I think I'm part of the Facebook Bob Graham round club now, and I'm just looking into it.
Yes,
it looks really good.
Yeah,
and I would definitely want to try it once, but I haven't planned anything like it yet. I mean, like, I'm just following it and looking into it. Of course, I saw Kilian Jornet this year doing his amazing round. And yeah, I would love to anything like that, because that's also with the fast non-time FKT. It just, if it's not like a real competition, it's also relaxed. That's the thing about trail running. You just can go out and enjoy it, and you don't have to win it. You don't have to, like, a marathon is more or less, as I feel like, more, you have to do something, you know. I think always, like, for me it feels like I don't want to say hurt someone's feelings, but I think road running is also like, feels more competitive, feels more like you have to what's your time, you know. The trail running is more about experience, and people enjoy it. And yeah, Bob Graham route looks really good. I would like to definitely look into more of it. And then maybe the problem for me is, like, do I go out here and see if I can you know, do some wrecking, or come over and just try it and see what happens. And then it's also about getting going over. It's also like a little cost for me, like, it's not around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would definitely look into it, and I just have to get more information on how to do it and what's available and how it works.
I'm supposed to be helping a friend on his attempt in a couple of months' time. I haven't been on any of the. I've been on the same hills, but not actually on any of the sections of it so far.
So you're saying that if I'm going to do my attempt, you're going to help me as well?
Yeah, I'll help you for sure.
Camera now, cool, really cool.
For sure. I don't believe I'm fast enough going uphill to attempt it myself. You know, maybe in a few years' time.
Cool.
But I'm very happy to help other people with it, for sure.
Nice. Yeah. No, definitely on the to-do list. But to be honest, at this point, I'm looking more forward to do the full spine. Yes. It's still a little bit scary as well, because I have 3 spine challenges. Like, I want to see more of the track. But I'm also a little bit impressed by how far it still is. Having done 500k now, and then that was in, like, nice, easy Dutch terrain, and now I have to go into the hills, into Scotland, the wild Scotland, passing Hadrian's Wall, and I was really looking forward to.
So sorry, I just need to ask you. So do you think north of Hadrian's Wall is Scotland?
I make a mistake now, don't I?
Yeah. I was born north of Hadrian's Wall, so that's why I'm asking.
No, I'm not really sure where the borderline is, and to be honest,
well, the race finishes on the border.
Okay.
So you're only just in Scotland.
But again, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings or something, but it's very hard to understand for people outside the UK how it all works here. You have England, you have Scotland, you have Wales, and
I mean, it's a little bit like what's the difference between Holland and the Netherlands?
Nothing. It's the same thing, different name.
Yeah, and then Belgium. That's the same place, right?
No, that's a different country. Yeah, but you officially have one government, but then you have also 3 governments, don't you? Or 4? Nobody understands.
But they don't do anything.
Okay.
That's the important thing.
So no, but it should be wilder north, doesn't it?
Yes.
Lucky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was lucky last summer. My brother lives much further north in Scotland. I went to visit in the summer, and in fact, I was running in places where there wasn't even a trail on the ground.
Wow, cool.
So it's really, you're sometimes following the track from some deer through the mountains in Scotland, and that was, you're never going to set a fast time because the terrain's very tough, and doing proper river crossings.
That's good for.
And nobody knows where you are, so you got to be very careful how you cross the rivers. But that's so nice going to do some of that kind of running.
That's good for people like us. I mean, we're not fast, we're just strong. We keep going, and we're mentally strong. But maybe going back to what I want to do is, like, hopefully next year I want to try the 3 Peaks Yacht Challenge.
Right.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
The sailing and the running is something I would look into it. And then maybe after that, orienteer myself in the Bob Graham round or something else. And you were talking about more, is it Hatchmore or something? You were in the car, the 100 something.
Which one? Sorry.
You were talking in the car about some other races like
Oh,
how many kilometer runs you were doing around here.
Oh, the Hardmoors.
Yeah, Hardmoor. Yeah, sounds interesting as well. So
that was the Hardmoor 60 that I did last year, and yeah, there's a whole series of those. It's again, I think you would really like that kind of terrain. It's a little easier terrain than the Spine, and most of them are better time of the year. One of them's in January, but I never do that one because I'm doing the Spine.
Yeah, that's the problem with Spine. I mean, it's an amazing race, but you're just blocked for like 3 months. In December, you're training and make sure you don't get injured or get ill, and then you have the Spine, and then you have like 2 months of recovering. Like, it's just a block.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, as you were saying, doing the full Spine, there's the question over the. How do you feel? How do you keep going over that long distance?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's the same kind of questions that people who are looking at their first ultra.
Yeah, definitely.
Are looking at it, because for me, one of the questions for myself is, you're up there certainly in the top 10. Winning races, coming second, fourth. Good strong positions. Yeah. I'm more around the 14, 15 place kind of mark, which is good.
Definitely,
I'm happy to be there. It's a very enjoyable place to be, and I want to find out with myself when I go to more than double the distance.
Yeah.
Do I get into the top 10 now, or do I get even further forward, or do I drop further back? Maybe I'm worse at it.
But it's so interesting. Like we were discussing before. If you look at the Spine, the full Spine, if you're following it on the dot watching, people just drop out in front. Like, what happened? And then people switch places. And it's very interesting to see like what will takes to finish it, and what will take it to be good at it. Will be a long breath or long run, or is being fast a good thing or a bad thing?
Yes.
Like 2 years ago, people were dropping out like constantly in front, and then the next one is in the front, and then it drops out again, and then. It's so interesting. Where's the good balance? Yeah,
and then I think one of the guys I was dot watching, I've forgotten who it was now. He was in something like 6th place or even further back. It wasn't Parva, it was somebody else. And when you got towards the end of the race, he had gone and had enough sleep early on.
To keep going.
At the end, he instead of spending 10 hours in an aid station like somebody else did, he spent like 1 hour there.
Yeah.
And so suddenly he leaps far ahead.
Yeah. But even this year, I mean, look at this Spanish guy, if I keep forgetting his name. Eugenie, yeah. I mean, like 6 kilometers before the end, he drops out. I mean, that's something you cannot plan for if you're behind him. I mean, you can just try to catch up with him, and like you did with Jasmine Paris, and he just couldn't make it. He destroyed himself, or just you don't expect something to drop out of you 6 kilometers in front of you, or 6 kilometers before the finish line. And then you get you an extra spot. But you cannot plan for it. I mean, you have to run your own race and still try to be competitive, But it's hard to plan, and you don't know what other people are going to do.
Because I mean, again, like in my Challenger this year on the MR Challenger, I finished in under 36 hours. Last year, I would have won it. This year, I was 4th.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, 5th. But I was 5th on the MR Challenge with a time this year that would have won it last year.
But that's the thing. I mean, like, and this year the conditions were worse. Last year conditions were very good, and that's the same thing. I mean, if you look at the results. From the first Spine Challenger to now, every year they're breaking records.
Yes.
I mean, I think the first year it was 36 hours actually for the first to come in Spine Challenger, and now 36 hours isn't. Well, it's like
14th place.
That's what I mean. I was like, it's ridiculous. I mean,
That's the interesting thing about these races that we're doing is that. Very clearly it's not a mature sport. People are still learning it.
Definitely,
learning the science behind it, pushing the boundaries
about
on
kit size.
Yes. The equipment's really, really good, really light.
But
I'm finding with some of my equipment being like 1 year old now, it's already failing. It doesn't last.
Yeah, that's the problem with like the lightweight kit. It's just it's built to be lightweight and not to resist and not to keep going. And then that's the thing. You wanna have good equipment kit for a longer time. Then it has to be stronger, more durable, heavier.
Yeah.
Or you want to have it like for race kit, and then you have to just take it for granted. You have to buy new kits every couple of years.
Yep.
And the other thing is, it's going to be better anyway. Next year it's going to be lighter anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we all like buying new kit.
Yeah, well, we don't like having new kit. We don't like buying it because it's so expensive.
Yeah, so we don't like paying for it.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting sport, and I guess back to a point you made early on when you were talking about your journey from adventure racing. One of the things that I think we both love about running is that there's that fantastic contradiction in running in that it's a solo sport.
Yeah. You
run for your own time. You don't have to rely on anybody else. Yet it's really, really social.
Definitely, yeah.
Because like we've both done climbing in the past. If you go to climb a route in the Alps, there's 2 or 3 of you in a group usually going to climb. So the 2 or 3 of you might not even see each other all day. If it's a technical route, you're bailing, you pass each other at the bailing point. You're actually on your own all day long.
That's true.
And you could be out on an 18-hour day.
Yeah.
And like you said, just say hi. Sometimes you might stop somewhere for something to eat where it's a safe place altogether.
Yeah.
But that's the more technical you get, the less that happens. Yet in running, you can be running along with somebody who is kind of like 3 or 4 or 5 grades. We don't have grades in running, but if there were, like much better runner than you. Yet for that hour of that race, you're feeling good, so you're going fast. They're feeling a bit bad, they're going a bit slow. Yeah. And you run together for an hour, have a good chat, and then you part ways again. Yeah. And it's so good.
It's a good thing also to meet people, have interesting stories.
Yes.
And it's really nice.
Yes. I find it much easier to relate to other people ahead of you and behind you in running than in climbing, because like with climbing it's kind of, well, what grade do you climb at? I'm at this grade. Oh, well, I'm 3 grades above or 3 grades below. It's difficult to climb together unless one guy's kind of having an easy good day and the other guy's trying to be a bit scared.
That's the same with road running, I guess, because road running is so fast, you don't have time to chat, you don't have time for anything else, and people are running their maximum often because they want to do a PR.
Yes.
Same like rock climbing, you're saying, you cannot run together if you're not on the same level. While ultra running, it takes such a long time and such a long distance, you can easily hold back a little bit to make sure you're stronger later on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good game that we play.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why we could keep coming back.
Yeah, and also as you were saying, it's the though you might, well, it's very competitive from the point of view of people will push themselves very, very hard to beat somebody on the course.
Yeah.
But as soon as you finish, I don't see anybody being unfriendly toward each other. No. As soon as you cross that finish line, it's like the other person's your brother. Well, it's just.
But this year, I mean, like Spine Challenger was like, I think 2.5 hours behind Jim Mann. He was there to cheer me on the finish line.
Yes.
And I knew it was my own race. I was racing myself to get my better than last year's time, which I didn't expect to make it until I was like going quite fast. I didn't make it in the end, but it's just, if you want to be competitive with like somebody like Jim Mann, it probably would have broken me. Like I told you before, we were on Jacob's Ladder, I was leading the race, and then Jim just runs past me uphill, and I probably could have easily tagged along for a couple of hours, maybe 10 hours, maybe longer, but at some point he would have broken me. Well, now I'm just doing my own race, and that's the thing is, I don't have all these hills, and I don't train on the hills as much. I'm here to enjoy myself. Why should I let somebody else dictate my pace? Yes. And if somebody is stronger than me, he probably deserves it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's,
train for it.
Yeah, and that's what I managed to do myself this year as well. I ran my own race at my pace right at the start. because on the MR challenge, you're only talking about like maximum of 20 people on the start line.
Yeah.
And 8 of them went off ahead of me at the start. And there's no way I wanted to finish in 9th place on the MR challenge. But I just let them go.
Yeah.
Within 1 kilometre, I caught the first one.
Yeah.
It was that fast. and then they started either dropping back or dropping out.
Yeah.
And those that finished ahead of me, that there was 3 guys running together. And that's fantastic to run as a 3 over that kind of race and not actually slow each other down is very difficult.
Definitely,
So they did a fantastic job and deserve to get the places they got.
Definitely.
I would find it very difficult to stay with a group on that kind of race. Certainly, run with people for some time. It's good fun, but I wouldn't like to be committed to staying together.
I understand.
Yeah. Right. I think. So there's one question I definitely wanted to ask you. So you're definitely a grade, 2 grades up on my running.
Thanks.
So what's your advice to somebody like me who's I'm not really far behind.
Yeah.
So it's not like talking to somebody that has absolutely no chance of ever getting near the front. Hopefully I've got some vague chance sometime of if a few people fall and break legs or something like that.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, it's hard to I think to give a real good advice to you because you are so experienced as well. I think we might have different kind of life. You have children. I don't. I work 4 days a week. So my Friday, my wife works. She has a day off on Thursday. So Friday is my training day. Every Friday I go for like a 60 or 50 kilometer run, or a 5-6 hour bike ride, or a long kayaking or canoeing training. So I train at least like normally 15 hours a week, which a big part of my Friday is just my training day.
Yeah.
And you probably have you have to take care of your children much more than it takes a lot of time, and that's the thing. I have a lot of respect for people like you who have a family life and still be able to run as good as you do. I have some friends of mine who are a little bit older and they have also 3 children, and it's so impressive to see these people still managing all of it together. Because for me, I just have to make sure my wife's content with me running and then I can just go training and do something else. And that's, I think, the biggest part is just find enough training time for yourself and of course push yourself. I mean, I'm not sure, I often carry extra weight while training, I'll just try to have less weight while racing it, and train everything you need to do, even train your transition areas at home. Make sure you know what to plan, because even at Hebden, if you did my transition time, you would have won 24 minutes already.
Yes.
So I see a lot of people at transition areas taking the time, being comfortable. I did PTL last year in France. It's a 300 kilometer, the big UTMB. And although I didn't finish because I had actually had a hint injury, and it was too much climbing, too much scrambling, I decided to retire from the race. But I think we were in 20th position on the first 30 kilometer. Then we came to a hut. A lot of French teams were just having a picnic over there. And then I think we passed 15 teams just because they were having a transition area which was so slow.
Yes.
And I think you treat everything of your race as a race. Don't relax. And it's all about, I think, finding your own comfort zone. Because to be honest, I don't ever expect to be as strong as somebody like Jim Mann, because he has probably had also the genetics with him. And I don't have the hills I can train in. I train on a treadmill at home. My gym has a treadmill which I put on the maximum incline of 15 degrees.
And put some books under the front.
Get them more I put on a weight vest, and I just put on a movie and walk for 2 hours on the treadmill just to get the altitude into my legs. I have to train it, and I do a lot of gym training as well for the legs. Power training.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's hard to say how you can win more, but
yeah. Well, I think from what you've explained there, probably the crucial difference, like you say, is the number of hours that you can dedicate to training. I'm probably hitting about 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you're hitting 15 hours a week.
Yeah, but you have a big social life at home, family life.
Yeah.
I mean, like we discussed before, like a lot of people just watch TV for, I mean, like maybe 10 hours a week or probably more even. Yeah. They sit down, and for me, it's like I try to be as active the whole week as I can. So I try to always bike to my work. I have a 10-kilometer bike ride in Snelle, so it's flat, but I could have taken a car.
Yes.
And I like to even run to my work sometimes. I have showers, so it's no problem. And even if I visit friends or my parents live 25 kilometers away, if I can, I take the bike.
Yep.
So I just try to be active the whole life. If I go to the office, which have the stairs or the elevator, I take the stairs because I don't have often go up and down stuff. So if I can choose stairs, I take the stairs.
Yep.
That's the whole. I think the whole package. Your whole life has to be focused at being active.
Yes.
I don't like to sit down. Of course, I like to watch a movie as well, but we don't have a TV at home. If we go to the cinema, or put on a movie which we've chosen. We don't like to zap around the whole evening just to sit on the bench.
Yes.
So I think it's the whole package.
Yeah, and that's very much what I've been aiming for as well. As you say, balancing the times.
Yeah.
Not easy, but to be as active as possible. One of the changes that I made when I kind of started to progress with my running was because I work from home. I would get up in the morning, get my breakfast, go to my office. Now, the minimum I do is go for a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
And that's because then you don't need to change your clothes or have a shower.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah.
So that's the minimum. Now, this week, twice I've got up early to do an hour in the gym before work, and once went for an hour run before work. And then that means that later in the day I can still do another run.
Yeah.
Or something else later on. But yeah, that's like you say.
And yes, you just go for it and be mental ready for it. I mean, like I saw the interview with Jasmine Paris that she was taking a couple of long runs in the early morning.
Yes.
I think, wow, that's impressive. Because I'm not a morning person, I'm an evening person. So I often take my long runs in the evening. Mm-hmm. But the bad thing about it is then if you did a 3-hour run in the evening, you probably have to do it at 1.5 hours after your dinner. So you're going to start at 8 in the evening. So you go back at 11 at your place. If you do a 3-hour run, if you do a 4-hour run, 12.
Then you need to eat after the run to
eat,
recover.
Shower, and then you're full of adrenaline, and you're just hyper, and then you go to sleep before 1:30, and then the next time you have to go to work again.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a friend of mine who I met running, and we run at a similar level, but she's probably been making more progress. Kim. She gets up at 4:30 in the morning to go running almost every day.
Wow.
A lot of it in the mornings on the treadmill because she has a daughter, so she can't leave the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would find it very hard. When I say I get up to do things before work, it's like 6:30, not 4:30.
Yeah.
6:30 is kind of human.
But again, it's all about commitment. I mean, people, of course, genetics will help and experience will help, but you have to put in the works to get your result.
Yes.
And that's just something a lot of people forget, especially in this this time. People really are consumerism. They want to have something and want to have it fast. If you want to buy something, you buy it on the internet, the next day it's in your house. And people don't want to work for it. A lot of people I met just want to have a bucket list and this ultra marathon check, and then they don't want to work for it. And that's the thing. Because if you want to do a long run, you have to condition your feet as well. You condition your body.
Yep.
Because you're, like we've talked before, something is going to complain, of course, if you don't put in the miles. You don't expect to be run a 100-kilometer run if you only run 10k runs.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to go for it. I mean, like I told you before, I've been adventure racing since 2004. Been alpine climbing before. So I think my body is used to having challenges, having big days out, and at some point, because I'm from the Netherlands, I'm quite good at climbing and quite good at going uphill because I've been doing it for a long time already.
Yes.
So yeah, you have to work for it, and then after all the years, you get the results.
Yeah. No, that's good. Like I say, it's probably because often ask people this kind of question, about how to, advice for people to improve or something. And this is probably the first time we've really talked about this key element of the more work you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely a good thing to highlight to people. I guess alongside that is one of the common mistakes that people make when they start trying to run more is they try to do lots of fast running.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
Nah.
You've got to when if you're going to increase the amount you run, you've got to be careful about your pace. And
definitely.
And cross training, like you're saying, getting on the bike and doing the weights in the gym to protect yourself and look after yourself.
Definitely, yeah.
Do it sensibly, but the more you run, the better you'll be.
I think so, yeah.
Right, it's probably a good place to finish.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
No worries. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been really good to have a chat with you.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully I can do it once more in the future.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. Yeah. And very best of luck in the Dragon's Back.
Thanks. Just the goal is now to survive and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that chat with Wouter there. He says it was an absolute pleasure, and he's a really nice guy. Very nice of him to say so. So we'll wish him the very best of luck. You can track him on the Dragon's Back race, which is starting on Monday the 20th of May, racing across Wales over the next 5 days. And it was lovely when I gave Wouter a lift over to the youth hostel in Conwy and walked into the room there, and it was like a spine race reunion. A lot of people trying to tempt me to join the race there, so thank you to everybody for that. Please follow us, subscribe to the podcast, like and share. Let your friends know if you think this is something that they'd be interested in listening to. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll try not to make it so long before the next episode. We may have a recording already scheduled for about 2 weeks' time. So we'll be back then. Thank you.